I want to read a little bit about what Kazuo Ohno said to talk about his dance, because I think this will give a much better sense of it than I would. This is from a book, Kazuo Ohno's World from Within and Without. The first half of the book is Yoshito Ohno's memories about his father's work, and the second half of the book are transcriptions of things Kazuo Ohno would say, talking about his dance and in the workshops when he was teaching dance. Let your movements spill out of you. Do your utmost to make them spontaneous. Don't figure it out in your head. Nobody wants to come to such a lifeless performance. Discard whatever mental fantasies and ideas you may have. Don't think about where to place your feet. Forget all that and follow your own impulses. You'll only obstruct your flow of movement by thinking about what good posture you've got. What's the point of asking yourself what your next gesture should be? I want dance to spring from an inexplicable source. Picture for a moment the effortless way in which the winds blow through the skies. Think of rain, of clouds, storms. Treat everything with great care. Try to move very delicately. Try to move with the strength of the young. Try to move with the delicacy of the aged. Cherish each and everything as though it were God's precious gifts of life bestowed upon us. Don't concern yourself with superficial appearance. Does a flower think about how it should bloom? Doesn't it just simply reach out to us and offer all it has to share? I'm all too aware of the difficulties you'll encounter in trying to give of yourself as freely as a flower does. You let go of yourself ever so briefly. I don't expect you to do so constantly, but if you only could abandon yourself for 1 second, for just one brief instant, you've got to seize that fleeting moment and ensure that it bears fruit. To dance on stage is to put one's life on the line. Even I become desperate whenever I step out there. The first, the second, the third step are simply hopeless. And yet that moment will come after the third, the first, the fifth step, when I slip into a timeless realm. As you let go of yourself, you'll carry us all to the sun and the moon. You'll convey to us an eternity with every step you take. And oh, how deeply touching it is to come face to face with the man in the moon. You've got to convey eternity in every second. Which, you ask, is the prime mover, the soul or the body? Body and soul are inseparable. But unless we feel that your dance steps out of your heart, it won't attract our attention. We won't grasp what your soul is trying to impart to us. Open up. Let us see what's going on inside of you. As far as I'm concerned, if you're to really bring your dance to life, you've got to become a spirit. While we obviously can't clearly define the shape or form a spirit possesses, that is not to say that it doesn't have one. All of God's creatures, be they birds, beasts, whatever, live in me. I've done enough talking for today. So how about a ghost dance? In a word, you're practicing so as to turn into a specter. I notice that your facial and physical expressions are constantly changing. What a bottomless well. You can express yourself in an infinite number of ways. It's not a question of 1,000 or 2, for we could never count them all. How could we? We carry in us the traces of every conceivable form of human experience since the creation of heaven and earth. So not only does our imagination draw on what we've experienced in our personal trajectories through life, it also feeds on those of the countless generations that preceded us. Our expressive range is not confined only to human dimension. It also embraces those of fishes, plants, and amphibians. Even that gush of freedom we once felt on soaring through the sky is stored in there. We've all experienced such sensations in our mother's wombs. Your expressions are in a state of flux. That is what I would like you to explore today. All of the many lives you've led, all the different realms you've known. Try stretching toward the sky using both arms. If you want to soar into the sky, that might be a good starting point. In the womb, you were free to cast your gaze wherever you pleased, upward, downward, inward, wherever. You were surrounded by sky. It wasn't just above your head, but under your toes as well. In like manner, you are now surrounded by sky. We coexist with the sky. Pay special attention to your feet, for their tactile sense is equally sensitive as those of your hands. You're soaring into the heavens, aren't you? You'd better believe the clouds are below your feet. You'd really better believe it. Aren't clouds supposed to be overhead? Aren't we accustomed to looking at them above our heads? But playing in your mother's womb, didn't you float inside those clouds above the clouds? Didn't you look upward while playing in the womb? You didn't need to do so, but you still probably experienced the sensation of floating above the clouds. It's possible to feel something without having to look at it directly, so long, of course, that it is imbued with life. The soul is the prime mover in dance. Are we conscious of our feet when walking? No. How could you figure out your steps and walk at the same time? Don't we walk by placing one leg in front of the other? We'd never be able to walk were we to think of which leg to put down first. When a mother beckons her child to come to her, it runs toward her instinctively. Like life itself, we can never stay still. You're hesitant about what to do with your hands, but once you forget about them, don't they unexpectedly become as one? You've got to make us feel that your hands and those of the universe have somehow become as one. You won't, however, bring this about consciously. You'll only discover and experience this on becoming the hands of the universe. You don't need to be theatrical. Remain calm. Let go of your strength bit by bit. It's all right. Move delicately as an insect would. You'll get a taste of eternal life when you reach the point where you can survive like an insect. Insects are alive. Keep at it. Go on. Put your life at risk. When you're moved by deep feeling, couldn't you stand there motionless like a stone statue perched on top of a rock? Possessed by such conviction, you could walk on water. What or who could prevent you from burying yourself alive under a riverbed? You won't, however, command that degree of self-control with just any passing fancy. Here at the workshops, explore your emotions for what they truly are. That is why you're here. If, say, you feel that a bloodthirsty beast is stalking you, don't dismiss that fear out of hand. Instead, experience the anguish of being preyed upon with every single step you take. If a lion bites your foot, live through the horror for all it's worth. Even if that beast rips your limbs apart, don't let that stop you from delving into the depths of that excruciating pain. What does being able to endure such an experience mean? Doesn't it suggest that we can transform ourselves radically? What's then to stop you from turning yourself into a dragonfly, a butterfly, a fish, or even an insect? The important thing is that you live every step, every stride, painstakingly. Perhaps you doubt your ability to attain such an unwavering degree of emotional focus, but why? There's nothing to stop you.